Welcome back to Reds Fusion LFC, your ultimate home for everything Liverpool FC. Today we've got massive news breaking out of Anfield. Arne Slot sends a major warning to Mohamed Salah. Amid the Reds' ongoing struggles, Florian Wirtz's true value to Liverpool, finally revealed after Jamie Carragher's blunt verdict. Jarell Quansah opens up about his transfer clause and Liverpool's form plus, a subtle dig from the Sweden boss towards Alexander Isak. With Liverpool's treatment under the spotlight. Stick around. Reds, this one's packed with drama, passion, and big revelations. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with every twist and turn in the transfer window. Arne Slot sent major warning over Mohamed Salah amid Liverpool woes. Liverpool have hit a slump in form as of late, losing 3 consecutive games across the Premier League and Champions League, and Paul Scholes has picked out a problem that he sees in talisman Mohamed Salah. Paul Scholes believes that Mohamed Salah has been making the wrong decisions for Liverpool as of late, as the Reds hit a rough patch. While Arne Slot was able to guide the Reds to a Premier League title last season, his team have shown major weaknesses at times this term. At the time of writing, Liverpool currently sits second in the league standings, a point behind Arsenal after 7 games. However, they have been unable to secure a win in their last 2 outings in the English top flight, while also suffering defeat in the Champions League in the interim. The Anfield side suffered a 2-1 defeat to Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park last weekend, before falling to Galatasaray in a 1-0 defeat on Tuesday. Liverpool also returned from Stamford Bridge on Saturday without a point to show for their endeavors, after being dealt a crushing 2-1 loss to Chelsea, and while plenty of supporters and pundits alike have picked problem with a leaky defense, following lackluster displays from the likes of Milos Kerkez and Ibrahima Konate, as well as Florian Wirtz struggling to find his footing in the English top flight. Scholes has called out Salah for the part he has played, speaking on the good, the bad, and the football alongside Nicky Butt and Paddy McGuinness. The ex-Manchester United midfielder said he's still playing in the same position, but he just seems to be making the wrong decisions. More often than not, there's a couple of times. If you remember last year, look, he scored loads of goals. But a lot of the time, he cutting in from that right-hand side, his left foot, and he's playing some great balls into people to just tap in. There was a couple of instances on Saturday. He's cutting inside. He's ballooning the ball over the bar. But then added, they're going in top corner last year as well. When he comes inside that left foot, you think he's hitting that top corner. He had 3 or 4 on Saturday, and he's hitting like 20, 30 feet over, and you're thinking, he's just off the boil. Salah proved to be one of Liverpool's most valuable assets last season, with 29 goals and 16 assists in the Premier League alone. And while he has already scored 2, and set up a further 2 in the league this term, Scholes and Butt believe that he isn't showing the same consistency. Elsewhere, Wayne Rooney has also questioned Salah's work ethic, taking a swipe at the Egyptian forward in the wake of their loss to Chelsea. He said, with the players coming in, Alexander Isak, Hugo Ekitike, and Wirtz, the money they have spent on them, what does Salah think now? Top players have an ego, and Mo Salah has been one of the best players in the league for a long, long time. I think the last week has shown that when it's gone well, you're scoring goals and you're winning games. It's great and the team will put up with that, but over the last week, I'd question his work ethic. I know he doesn't always get back and defend as much, but in the Chelsea game, his fullback is getting torn apart, and he's there watching. Players like Virgil van Dijk and Alisson, who I know wasn't playing, but the leaders in the dressing room should be telling him, you need to help it. For me, that was a worry. He has looked a little bit lost the past week, in my opinion. It comes as Slot and Liverpool now have a 2-week international break to right 1 or 2 wrongs from as of late, before they return to Premier League action on Sunday, October 19th, to face Manchester United in the Northwest Derby, a game that Salah will hope to make a mark in. Florian Wirtz's true value to Liverpool emerges after blunt. Jamie Carragher verdict Florian Wirtz has struggled. Since his move to Liverpool, and the midfielder has been dropped to the bench in recent games. But his market value has not dropped. Florian Wirtz has experienced a challenging beginning to his Liverpool career since arriving from Bayer Leverkusen. The Reds playmaker sealed his switch to Anfield in the summer transfer window for an upfront fee of $135 million on 100 me, with a further 22 mailers, 16 neck, potentially available in add-ons, which would make him the second most expensive Premier League purchase of all time. Wirtz's arrival at Liverpool has resulted in significant scrutiny of his displays, with plenty of onlookers left not too impressed with his start to life at Anfield. Jamie Carragher is among a number of pundits who have shared their views on the Germany. International, there's a few problems there that he's Arne Slot got to fix. And it'll now be really interesting how he goes about it because he spent a lot of money on certain players. Carragher told CBS Sports last week, but right now, I don't think the balance of the team is right. And the obvious one that stands out is Florian Wirtz. He's just not at the races at all. He's a young boy coming into a new league. He's got plenty of time to go as a Liverpool player, but right now, I think he needs to come out of the team. Liverpool get back to what they were last season, and then go from there and try and build some confidence and build some defensive solidity, because right now, it just looks a mess. The 22-year-old has yet to find the net since his switch to Anfield and was relegated to the substitutes bench for the Premier League defeat against Chelsea at the weekend. Slot subsequently introduced Wirtz into the match at the break when the playmaker came on for Connor Bradley at halftime. Despite a dearth of goals and assists, Wirtz's market value remains notably high. The CIES Football Observatory estimates Wirtz's worth to be between $163 million, 191 million, and $189 220. This is significantly more than the total fee Liverpool has agreed to pay Leverkusen, and it hasn't decreased during the playmaker's tenure at Anfield. Liverpool's next Premier League fixture isn't until October 19th when it hosts fierce rival Manchester United at Anfield. It's yet to be determined if Wirtz will return to the starting lineup for the showdown against the Red Devils, where the Reds are eager to halt a streak of 3 consecutive losses in all competitions. I saw what people did after beating Liverpool, and new signings cannot ignore it in his latest column. John Aldridge looks at how Liverpool can react to a difficult run of results, and life without Alisson Becker absolutely would not have felt necessary. But the last week has shown the summer signings just what Liverpool Football Club means, and they're standing on the world stage, right? Now, just look at the celebrations of the respective opposing managers, with the Reds having lost 3 games in a row. Oliver Glasner was almost doing a lap of honor when Crystal Palace scored late on to beat Liverpool last weekend at Selhurst Park. Then there was the reaction of the Galatasaray players and coaching staff to their narrow win over us in the Champions League a few days later. The scenes were such that you'd have thought they'd have won the World Cup, and I am in no way knocking them for that. Why shouldn't you celebrate beating a big club? Which brings us to Saturday evening and the concession of another late winner, this time at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea boss Enzo Maresca could barely contain his delight and sprinted down the touchline to celebrate, and ended up picking up a second yellow card and being sent off as a consequence. Those scenes would have hurt Liverpool's players, and they should have done. But what it shows is just what this football club is all about, and how much it means for others to beat us right now. While the established players will have been used to that sort of reaction, it would have surely been a bit of an eye-opener to those who have been brought in during the summer. Yes, many will have already played for pretty big clubs, but there's hardly anyone right now with the size or stature of Liverpool. And with that comes a whole heap of unique pressures. We are Premier League champions, and in my view, over the past 12 months, only Paris Saint-Germain can claim to have been better. That means we are the team to beat and a major scalp. And opponents are always going to raise their game. It's primarily a one-off for them, but for Liverpool, it's something they have to cope with every week. That's not easy. I remember when I won the title in 1988 with Liverpool, and the following year we had a lot of difficulties during the first half of the season. Many of them echo what is happening now. A decent start before injuries to key players, loss of form of others, not many clean sheets and narrow defeats. It got to the turn of the year and we finally found the right balance and form and went on a great run of results and regained our confidence, and ended up winning the FA Cup and should have won the league. We had to stand up and be counted. And that's what Liverpool's players, both new and old, have to start doing now. The hard work starts here. Jarell Quansah addresses Liverpool transfer clause in honest admission over Reds' form. Jarell Quansah was sold by Liverpool to Bayer Leverkusen in the summer and has no regrets about leaving Anfield. Despite the Premier League champion's recent struggles, Jarell Quansah has dismissed claims that Liverpool is in a mini-crisis. Following 3 consecutive defeats, the Premier League champions were dealt another blow by Chelsea on Saturday evening, after narrow losses to Galatasaray and Crystal Palace. This has led to pundits questioning Arne Slot's strategy, with Jamie Carragher stating it is far too easy to get at Liverpool. However, Quansah, who is part of the England squad set to face Wales in a friendly at Wembley on Thursday, simply smiled when asked if he was concerned about Liverpool's recent dip in form. The 22-year-old defender commented, "I'm not part of Liverpool anymore. I'm not behind the scenes. I don't know what is going on or anything like that. But what I do know is it was an unbelievable team last season, so it is not going to change much in a few months. That is all I can say on that." Liverpool had planned to replace Quansah with Marc Guéhi, but the Crystal Palace captain's move to Anfield fell through at the 11th hour. This has led some to question whether Liverpool acted too hastily in selling Quansah to Bayer Leverkusen for $47 million during the summer, but Quansah himself explained that he felt he had to leave Anfield due to a lack of consistent opportunities. A return to Merseyside isn't on his radar. Even though Liverpool included a $51 million buyback clause, which can be activated in the summer of 2027 in the deal that saw Quansah move to the Bundesliga. When asked about this clause, Quansah stated, "I play for Leverkusen, and I'm not in a position where I think I can just jump straight, back in and be the best player in the world and solve every problem. I'm still young and I'm still going to make mistakes. The quicker I iron them out, the quicker I can feel really, really confident with my own ability and know exactly the player I am because I still don't exactly know that yet. I'll only get that by playing more games. That's what I'm set up to do at the moment." Quansah, who is yet to earn his first England cap despite being included in several squads, has had a promising start to his career with Leverkusen. The club, currently 5th in the Bundesliga table, dismissed Erik ten Hag after just 2 league matches. The assurance of regular playtime was the key factor behind Quansah's decision to leave Liverpool. When asked why he chose Leverkusen, he explained, "It was knowing I could play at a really high level with top players and play in the Champions League on a regular basis. If you try and move to another top Premier League side, you might not be playing in the Champions League. It's been good for myself to make that step and go abroad because I just wanted game time, and when you are at a team like Liverpool, it's not promised because there are world-class players all over the pitch. Just wanted somewhere where they can trust that I might make mistakes at times. But they will look under that and see I can keep pushing and pushing." Sweden manager fires subtle. Alexander Isak dig as Liverpool treatment assessed Alexander. Isak has been recovering from a long time out, following his controversial exit from Newcastle United, with Liverpool managing his return to action carefully. Sweden manager Jon Dahl Tomasson has subtly criticized Newcastle United while praising Liverpool for their management of Alexander Isak. The forward made a record-breaking 125-minute move to the Reds on transfer deadline day after effectively going on strike at St. James Park to secure his departure. Isak didn't play a single match for Newcastle during pre-season, spending most of his time training solo. Consequently, he was out of action for nearly 4 months before returning to the pitch for Sweden during the September international break. The striker remained on the bench for Sweden's World Cup qualifier against Slovenia, only to be brought on in the 72nd minute during their 2-0 loss to Kosovo. Since then, he's had 6 outings for Liverpool, starting 4 times. But with the Reds carefully managing his game time, Isak has clocked up 312 minutes and contributed 1 goal and 1 assist. After Liverpool's defeat to Chelsea, Isak confessed that he's still working his way back to full fitness following his disrupted summer. However, he's set to see more action during the October international break, having been selected for the Sweden squad to take on Switzerland and Kosovo in their upcoming World Cup qualifiers. Tomasson has confessed he remains uncertain whether Isak will be capable of completing a full 90 minutes for Sweden, though he maintains the striker has shown encouraging improvement since his previous call-up. "I don't know, to be honest, as he hasn't played 90 minutes yet," he explained. "But one thing I know is that he looks better than a month ago, which is normal." He also made an excellent assist this weekend against Chelsea. "I don't know if it's a long way until he is back to his best, but we're getting closer, as you need 6 weeks in a preseason. First you play 45 minutes, then 60 minutes, 75 minutes, and 90 minutes. Then you need another 3 weeks to be at your best. That's normal. Whether it will be 90 minutes also depends on the matches, so I can't give a good answer about that. We need to look at the players individually, and we get data from the clubs regarding what the players can do physically and whether they can play 90 minutes or not twice. He has his own preseason and plays competitive games. It's a tough way to get fit, but they've handled it well. I think he has done very well. When you come to a new club, it is normal that it can take time to interact with the new teammates. He is doing his preseason with competitive matches, and I think he and Liverpool have handled it very well. If you look at the way he plays, the way he moves is top class. I still think he is very good." Meanwhile, Thomason also took a swipe at Newcastle, where he featured as a player during his career, highlighting how their contrasting approach with Jarell Quansah compared to Isak backfired spectacularly. The DR Congo striker moved to the Magpies in a 55-minute switch from Brentford on deadline day as one of 2 replacements for Isak, having also suffered a disrupted summer whilst attempting to engineer a move away.